see.
So today what we're going to do is we're just going to have a very nice informal chat. I'm going to tell you all the gossip and the stories and the rumors and all the things that you want to know. Because everybody always asks us, like, where do we live and what kind of food do we eat and what does it look like and all that kind of thing. So we thought we'd put this together and tell you what it's like to be a crew member on board a cruise ship in whichever department. I mean, obviously we're coming from entertainment background and things like that. But yeah, that's what it's about.
Yeah, and then we've taken some pictures around the ship as well. So we'll show you what the Majestic Princess looks like when you're not in the guest areas. And then as well, we have a couple of videos for you to show, and then we'll take your questions as well. So we'll try to answer as much as we can and make it as candid as we can for you. All right, let's jump into it, Lauren.
Super.
So why don't we start off when we talk about the backgrounds. How did you get here?
So I wanted to be a music teacher when I was at school. I studied music, I loved it, it didn't work out for me. Ended up studying graphic design and I hated it, so I was looking for a job. I worked overseas. I did a summer camp in North Carolina when I was 20 and I decided I never wanted to have children because of working in a summer camp. And then when I was 23, I'd gone home and I was so tired of living with my mother. I decided to join a cruise ship to get as far away as possible. And I joined Carnival and I was working on Carnival Cruise Line, which is where that photo was taken. I was a bar waitress and working 3 and 4 day track cruising in the Caribbean during spring break. 10 months later, I did the I will never do another ship again in my life speech. And I kept that pretty successfully for a few years. I worked in the UK, I worked at home, that kind of stuff. And then I joined Princess in 2009. I worked on the Dawn Princess, I was bartender there. And I worked for Princess for 5 years in the bar department. And then the bar department just wasn't for me anymore. I was tired of making drinks and handing them over instead of making the drinks and drinking them myself. So I thought I'd try entertainment instead. But Princess has much higher sort of quality than other cruise lines, and you needed to have this thing called experience, and I didn't have any. So I applied to P&O Australia, and they said, sure, you can, off you go, have fun, no experience, grab a microphone, help yourself. So I did, and I worked for them for 7 years. I moved up quickly. I was second in charge of the department. I was the deputy cruise director there. So I had a lovely time, and unfortunately P&O, they were waiting for the transfer of things like the Grand Princess and the Star Princess. They were all going to, sorry, not the Grand, the Golden, the Star and the Diamond. They were going to come down and join the P&O Australia fleet. And at that time, they had a buyer who said, I will take 3 ships off you right now. Take it or leave it. So they sold 3 ships. They were left with 2, and they were still waiting for the delivery of the last of the ships. So a lot of us lost our jobs, and Princess very kindly offered to take me back into entertainment. So it only took me 14 years, but I eventually got to where I wanted to be, which is entertainment on Princess. Yay! That's me!
Yeah, if you don't know, actually, P&O Australia is one of our sister companies. So we actually, the way it works is that Carnival Corporation actually owns all of the different, it's like 70% of the cruise industry is owned by Carnival Corporation. And then we operate within our own corporate umbrellas. So we operate within Holland America Group, where we have our own CEO and group president. And then in Holland America Group, there's us, Seabourn, P&O Australia, Holland America.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. There's the 4 of us that operate under that brand. So that's how it works. So it's actually sometimes people can, not necessarily, doesn't happen very often. More often you see for like technical, like bridge department and stuff like that, they'll move over to like a P&O Australia ship and help them for a little bit if they're short, and then move back. But so it is rare. But Christian as well came over from that.
Christian and I actually worked together on P&O Australia.
Yeah.
I used to be his boss.
He will be again soon, I'm sure. All right. Yeah, it's funny when it comes to especially like the cruise directors, assistant cruise directors, because it's not like at home. There's no way to train to do this job. You can't go to college and get a degree on how to talk, right? You can do it or you can't. And we all end up here with like a weird mix of backgrounds.
Yeah.
I mean, Lauren coming through the bar and working her way over. I was doing the same thing. I was studying in university to be a music teacher. Is what I wanted to be. And what happened was I got a job, a summer job, acting on a pirate ship. So yeah, I know, very much like the ones that we saw in Mexico, like yesterday in Cabo. They're actually almost identical to the one you saw in Cabo yesterday, sailing around. And so I was acting on that. I was the villain. I had to walk the plank 7 times a day. I had to go through. It was a great job, but I got that because it was like interactive theater for children. I was like, well, that will help me get into teachers college. This will help with my application. And then, so I was in university, and after my first year working there, it's only in the summer, because water freezes and ships don't do well with ice. So so we only operate in the summer. And then the winter came along, and the company called me. I said, hey, how do you feel about going to marine school? And I went, what do you mean go to marine school? Oh, we want you to captain the ship next year. So I was like, yeah, that'd be great. So they actually sent me away to Marine College, and I got my master's limited, so I could start captaining the vessel. It's a commercial vessel after all. So I went away, did all that, and then when I came back, I took over the operations of the company. So I was managing, of course, the safety of the vessel, the crew, and the guests on board, as well as acting in the show, directing the show, hiring, firing people, training people, drilling, doing the drills. On top
You like
of
drilling people, don't you?
oh God, Lord, don't start that. And then we went to. I took over just day-to-day operations, general management, and that's how I found myself in entertainment management. It was a complete accident, and did that for about 5 years. And I was like, I got to a point, and I went, you know what? This is way more fun than teaching. I wonder if I can find an entertainment job like this out in the real world. And so with 2 courses left in my undergraduate degree, I dropped out of university. And I told my mom this, and you just saw her heartbreak. She goes, you dropped out of university. And I go, yeah. I go, but don't worry, I have a job lined up. She goes, okay, well, that's good, Kevin. What's the job that you have? I go, well, Mom, I'm going to go to Royal Caribbean. I'm going to become a bingo host. What could go wrong? And she was, I've been a disappointment before. That was a big one. So that lasted very shortly until she found out that family members have very generous cruising discounts. And then she was completely okay with my life decisions after that. Very, very much like Lauren, I kind of moved up the ranks really quickly there to what they call an activities manager, which would be second in charge of the department. Spent about 5 years with them, and then the ships were getting much too big for me. I liked being out and being able to socialize with you and have fun with you, but when the ships have 6,500 guests, it's not happening anymore. There's too much admin that's behind the scenes. So I resigned from them and came to a company that doesn't have those massive ships, our massive ships are their medium-sized ships. And so came over to Princess, and that was the best decision I ever made. So I've been here for 5 years. They told me, hey, jump over, try a contract as assistant cruise director and learn our product. And then we're looking for cruise directors, and that was it. So I did the 1 contract on the old Star Princess, then moved up from there. And yeah, it's been a great 5 years at Princess, and really happy to make that jump over. All right, so we're gonna go through the whole process now of how you get hired to getting on board. So we're gonna tell you all of the inner workings of what it's like for us and how exciting it is. So you want to work on a cruise ship, Lauren? How do you apply?
Well, the first thing you've got to figure out is which company you want to work for, because if you don't like children, don't work on Disney. You know what I'm saying? So you've got to figure out where you want to go. And once you've found out which company you want to work for, the best thing to do is to go online and find out who their registered manning agents are. Now, there's a lot of scams that go around about working on cruise ships.
Sorry, what's a manning agent?
Yeah, it's a recruiting agent or a manning agent. There's a lot of scams that happen, so a lot of times you're going to get told, I can get you a job on a ship, but you've got to pay me $500. If something like that ever had to come up, if you know somebody who's applying, that is a scam. It's not a real thing. The only way to get a job is to go and look on the internet, find out who their agent is around the world, because there's different agencies around the world that employ on behalf of, and you would send your information and your resume, or as we say, a CV. You'd send your CV, your resume through to the manning agencies around the world, and they will have a look through, and according to whatever the company says they're looking for, department-wise, etc., and what experience you need, and all the other things that they need, they do like a vetting of who they would recommend to the company. And then once you've had an interview with the agency first, and they've seen you and they're like, okay, well, they'll be great for this job, then they will forward your information onwards to the main company, whichever company you're applying for, and then they will interview from there, and from that point in time, that's when the ball starts rolling. So it's a bit competitive if you're thinking, these jobs go out around the world, so there's anybody from anywhere in the world can apply for any job at any time. So when something comes up, you grab it and you take it. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
All right. Okay, I'm gonna have you keep going because someone's keeping trying to page me right now.
Cool.
Can you believe we still have pagers? How crazy is that? It's like I'm a 90s drug dealer. It's
like
fantastic.
1982.
Yeah, it's all the wrong one. But talk about joining documents.
All right, let me just put these all up.
It's all.
Oh, they're all there together.
Yeah,
Okay.
They're all different. Yeah.
So once you've got the interview with head office, and they've chatted to you and they've decided that okay, you're good. We're gonna grab you. We want you to come and work for us. At that point in time, that's when all the excitement really kicks off. And then you start paying for things out of your own pocket. That is the first time you start paying. So they will send you a letter of intent saying that we want you to come and work for us, and now you need to get your affairs in order. And by affairs in order, I mean the biggest bunch of paperwork you've ever seen in your life, especially if you're coming from South Africa. So you've got to try and get your visa sorted out. We all work on a C1D, it's a Siemens visa, which allows us access into the States. You've got to get that going. You've got to get a police clearance certificate, so we've got to prove that we are decent human beings to come and work on a ship. And then of course you will also get your contract. Now throughout the presentation you'll hear Kevin and me, when we talk about a contract, in your terms you might think a contract is a piece of paper that you sign, and yes, it is that, but we also refer to our work at sea and our time together as a contract. So this would be, which contract did you work on? We were together on the Star, it was that contract, or this is my 5th contract. So it's more like a tour of duty, for example. So we get all our paperwork together, all our joining documentation. They let us know where to go, when we're going. Your medical, you've got to get a full medical done. So if anybody does want to work at sea, you have to be able to pass a medical. There's no restriction really on age, but you have to be medically fit to work on board. So if you can't run up a flight of stairs, you can't work on board, because that comes hand in hand with your safety duties. So there's a lot of things that have to happen in the background, and now of course we get all these COVID tests and swabs and vaccines and all this other nonsense that you guys have to do. We have to do them too. And then we would get a little letter saying, good, you're joining this ship on this day, be at the airport at this time, and then you get on a plane and off you go, and it's amazing. Princess is very cool. They pay for our flights, which is wonderful. If you're a crew member on board, all our flights are paid for from the international airport of our departure, our home country, to the ship and back again. Everything gets covered. And in the old days, pre-COVID, we used to spend a night in a hotel. Just before joining, we used to all sort of fly into the airport. We'd go to a hotel, sleep there, and then get up in the morning and then get herded to the ship in the old days. But nowadays, because Princess is trying to restrict how much time we spend traveling and with other people, you know, just in case, they now fly us straight. You join the ship on the day that you land, but you come into the ship and you go straight into a quarantine for 7 days. So if anybody's wondering what's happening on deck number 9 and why it's closed off like the Twilight Zone, those are crew members who are joining us, who are like Kevin's replacement. She's in quarantine at the moment. So those are all crew members right now. We treat it as a red zone. We're treating it like as if they all have COVID. They're getting food delivered to them. We've got guys in the full Ghostbusters outfits, spraying stuff, walking around the ship. You'll see them. And that's purely for new crew who are joining. All fully vaccinated, fully boosted, but just in case.
And it's fantastic. Quarantine is the best. No, honestly, for crew members, because typically you'd fly in and then you're right to work. The crew members, you board the ship before you guys even get on. So like while you're leaving tomorrow, we'll be taking on new joiners that will start in a week from now. And you would come in and you would be at work within 2 hours. You'd be in a uniform and back to work. Where now you come on board and you have a week to just chill out. And they're all balcony rooms. We give everybody balcony rooms. They sit back, they relax. They're allowed to order what we call kombucha.
Yeah.
Do you want to? Okay. This
Story.
This is going to blow your mind right now. Okay. So when I left Royal Caribbean and I was coming to Princess, somebody was telling me. They said, "Hey, you're going to love a couple of things. One at Princess, which we'll talk about this in a second, compared to that company, is that officers, we get to order off the menu. So like we eat literally the exact same menu food as you." And I'm like, "What? Really?" Like, "Yeah, you want lobster tail? You can have lobster tails." Like, what? And so I thought he was messing with me. He goes, "Oh, wait till you find out what kombucha is." I'm like, "What's kombucha?" What's that?
You didn't have kombucha?
No, we didn't have kombucha at Rowan. No, that wasn't a thing. So kombucha, what happens is we have cabin stewards as well. And our cabin stewards, once a week, we can, they'll give us a little hard check. We write down our information on there with our account number and sign it, and you put it on your door. Then your cabin steward goes down and he does your shopping for you down in the stores in the back. They'll give you like a case of Coke, a bottle of water, or you get cases of water. You can get bottles of vodka, a case of beer, and it's all this. And they deliver it back to your room. I'm like, what, just at your fingertips like that? Like, yeah, absolutely. And I came here and I was like, it's real. It's a cruise ship miracle. So, but up there, same thing, they can order kombucha. So I know like a lot of the people, all crew members, we end up knowing each other really well. And so they'll sit out on their balconies, in the evening or at sail away, and they'll sit there and have a drink together and enjoy the sailways, which is something that we just don't get to do. So the quarantine period is actually fantastic.
And it helps you adjust your time zone too.
Yeah.
Because a lot of us, we're flying from all over the world. And so, it's a different day when you arrive. It's yesterday again. Like I left before I arrived. Or something, I arrived before I left, I don't know. It was one of those weird things. So it's really cool when you get into quarantine. You don't really unpack, but you've got all your stuff. You've got enough for the first week or so. And then you just sit there and you go, I don't need to do anything. This is what it feels like to be a guest. Oh, it's really good. And you take those photos, when you have your feet up on the balcony like this.
Yes.
With the sun setting, you're doing those photos. Like, yeah, I can cruise. It'll be a holiday.
Yeah, so that's how we get onto the ship. It's always a whirlwind. Did you talk about visas?
Briefly, yeah. It's just getting the C1D visa. So it's a bit of a pain. You don't need one.
No,
He doesn't
Canadians.
know the anxiety.
No, it's right.
Canadian.
Canadians, we're the only country that's exempt. We're allowed to come in on like a business visa, like any Canadian. We can, just like the Americans, you can enter in to do business. We come in on that, and then we just get stamped in. We do one trip on the ship, and then when we come back into port, immigration, they'll change us over to a C1D, and it doesn't cost us any money. Literally, they just stamp your passport, and then you're in. So it's really easy for Canadians. But the only problem with that is that if a cruise director can't join because they have a visa issue, guess who they're calling? It's the Canadian that's in the middle of their vacation to fly back in early and go back to work. So, it's good and bad. There's some trade-offs for that. All right, so we're going to cover that. Once when you get to work, there's a lot to learn. The first 2 weeks, by the way, are crazy, especially for your first contract on a ship. Oh, we should specify what a contract is.
I did.
Oh, you did? Okay, perfect. The two contracts, okay. Your first night on board is one of the most terrifying things ever. You lay in bed, and you lay there, and every single crew member does the exact same thing. They lay there. Look at Val right now. What did you do, Val? He cried. He cried. We all do. You lay there and you go, oh my God, what have I done? Right? Because, you're away from home. The environment is so different. The work, right? Like,
work.
Like you described it really well, but not knowing where you're going and.
Yeah. Hang on.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So, when you get on board a ship, right? My experience, I had never seen a cruise ship in real life until I got on one to work on it. And I joined, my first ship was the Carnival Fascination, which still I think had open lifeboats. So I remember looking at it going, it is so big. Like I did, wow, it's enormous. Now I look at it and I go, lifeboats. It's tiny. But when you join that first day, you have no idea what on earth you're doing with your life at all. Because it's not only that you've got people from different countries, different nationalities. We speak in a whole different language on board. We shorten everything. There's abbreviations, there's slang words for things, there's all that kind of stuff that you have no idea until you get here. And you still learn new things every day. Then you've got to find the maze that is the underground area that you guys don't see. I mean, this is already, you guys can't find a Lego dining room. You should try and look for the hotel stores department to get a uniform. I have no idea. It's madness downstairs. It is an absolute maze. And there's no windows, so you don't even know if you're going forwards or backwards. You just end up walking around in a circle until somebody stops you and says, are you okay? And then not only that, but you're getting plunged into a job that, even though you have experience, you need to have the ship experience of this ship, because we all do things differently. So every job is slightly different. Somebody wants you to do something in a different way, even though you've done it for years and years and years. So you've got to, like when I was a bartender, for example, I know how to make a margarita. I know what goes in a margarita. I bartended for years. But then I had to learn what the princess ingredients were, what the princess glass size were, and the measurements and that kind of stuff. So you learn the job again. And then you still have to deal with guests who are asking you questions about where things are on the ship, and you standing there going, I don't even know where my cabin is. Like, what toilet? I don't know where the toilets are. The theater, like barely found my way to this bar. And, you know, turn me around 3 times, I'm not going to be able to find my way back out again. It's really, really hard. Your first month on board is the hardest month in the world. You're learning, your whole mindset is completely blown. It goes straight up your learning curve, and then eventually you start sort of evening out, and then after about 3 months or 4 months, then you start getting into the rhythm of this lifestyle. It is the hardest thing in the world, but it's so much fun too.
Honestly, I'm almost 6 months now here,
Yeah.
and I still get lost in the crew areas. Like I'm dead. It's what Lauren's saying is so true. And then like every day I'll be like, I didn't know there was a staircase here.
Yeah.
You know, you go on a crew
100%.
like, where does this go to? And you go up and all of a sudden, like the staircase through here.
Yeah, but you walk
I
with
found out by
someone.
accident the other day. I was like, I didn't know there was a way to get up from there.
You walk through with someone, and then somebody goes that way, and you're going, what the hell's this? But now you're trying to look cool, being like, oh yeah, I totally know where I'm going. What is this little place? It's like a Latin's cave downstairs. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's
So much fun.
Yeah, it's huge. I'll show you this. We do every week. We do what we call crew rounds, where we just do inspections on all the cabins in the on the ship for the crew. And I was downstairs doing it once on deck 3, and we were there with the clipboard going, okay, where's cabin 31003? We're at 31001, and we can't find it anywhere. We're like, where is this? So we take off, and we walk around this huge loop, and we're going through left to right, left to right, and we come up. But when we were saying that, there was a door down with these pair of boots outside. And we walked all the way around, then we came out on the other side, and that was the cabin we were looking for that was like right next door to it. But it had boots. It was the same boots. It was like, how did we end up back at the boots? It's like Narnia walking through it. It's hilarious. All right. So we learned the job, but that's actually our secondary job. So on board, everybody's primary job is our safety duties. It's very much like the flight attendants. You know how your flight attendants, they're there for your safety, and then because they're there, they're serving you drinks. We're kind of the same thing. We're just waiting for an emergency, and then we post the vents in the meantime.
Light a fire. One of you light a fire. Sounds like you're waiting for an emergency.
But we are. That's all our primary role is our safety duties. And everything's kind of based on like what your skills are. So like the assistant cruise directors and cruise directors, we're the officer in charge of a muster station. So if we were ever to have to do the general emergency alarm and muster, actually if you were in this muster station here, Karen is the leader. So she'd be the one that'd be on the microphone as you come in. All right, everybody, we need to sit here like this and this and this and this. Here's how you put on your life jacket. These are the doors we're going to exit through to these lifeboats. And then we're in charge of all the crew in here to help make sure that we get you in and evacuate and take care of all the situations. So it all kind of depends on your job. They're more relevant to what you do on board. Sorry, my brain shut down.
My name's Lauren.
Your name is Lauren. So that's what we do. And now we're drilled as well. Once a week, every single week we do drills. If you were on Mazatlan, we conducted a crew drill that day. So we sound off all the alarms. We do a full simulation. We have smoke machines. We use cast members as casualties. We go all out. And we simulate everything from discovering a fire all the way to abandoning ship. And then also, every single year, we have to do inspections with the Coast Guard. And this turnaround, actually, after you get off the ship, we can't bring on the new guests because we have a Coast Guard inspection. So they're going to come on, and then there'll be a whole bunch of Coast Guard officers, and they'll be walking around watching us carry out our drills and do our exercises to make sure that we're ready to go. And you can fail that, and they can stop you from sailing. If you look it up, there's been cruise ships that have failed it before. The Coast Guard goes, no way, you guys aren't taking people on. And so you see that happen with other companies.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But every crew member is trained in their safety duties. It's ongoing. And a lot of them actually do additional things, and we have additional certification that you wouldn't even think that we'd have. So even though Kevin is in charge of the muster station in the Princess Theatre, he also has the ability to drive the lifeboats. And we all do firefighting courses and things like that. So everybody's got a lot of extra. It's not just grabbing a microphone and talking. It's a lot of training and extra things. And it's a lot of fun, actually.
Yeah, I love doing the drills.
Drill. It's fun.
But especially, I think, because of the Marine training I've had going to Marine College, it's been a lot of fun to be able to put that practice in. And it happens. Emergencies happen at sea. I've been through 5 fires, 3 of them that were actually a decent fire. So that's the wrong way to say it, but like that.
I'm glad you're leaving now.
I've had to muster the guests a few times. We had to do it on this ship, actually. We had to muster all of our guests for a false alarm man overboard. Thank goodness it was a false alarm, but we had to bring everyone in and make sure that everyone was accounted for before we continue sailing. And that was, of course, at 1 o'clock in the morning. So, yeah. You know what, though? The guests that saw it all in action gave us the highest ratings ever that we've achieved. No, seriously, because they saw the process happening. Like, they saw all the procedures. And you could see that they had the confidence in the crew going, oh, okay, these guys know what they're doing. The only complaint, well, we didn't get a complaint, but the funniest thing that came out of that was, so obviously if an emergency happens like that, and we're mustering all the guests, is that the guest service is shut down. We're taking care of the emergency now. We're not serving you drinks, right? Like that's the new priority. But what happened is that we've been teaching you so much about the Medallion class app that everybody was using Ocean Now while they're in their muster stations. And so when the room, the bellbox, room service. When those guys got back, they had like 95 orders of coffee and hot chocolate. And they're like, these aren't getting delivered. Like, there's no way we're delivering this. They canceled them all, sent everyone back to bed. It's pretty funny. Okay, average day, there's no average day on board. Everything is always changing. If you like things to be consistent, this is the wrong place for you. I always say it's like, I feel like my job is juggling plates and just trying not to let anything fall, right? You're constantly in the state of juggling and adapting and adjusting. Every day's different. That page was because there's nobody down doing carpet bowls right now. I'm like, okay, great. Well, I'm in an event, so thank goodness we have all these assistant cruise directors that we can page. And Karen, who's supposed to be there? Take care of it. So I mean, there's always something that's coming up on a day-to-day basis. Musician with a medical issue that's leaving tomorrow, and like there's stuff like this that's just constantly happening, and we're always adapting and overcoming. But so to kind of break it down simplistically, we have sea days and port days. We don't know the day of the week, by the way.
Or the date.
I do right now because I'm leaving tomorrow. That's the only reason I know what day it is. It is Friday the 28th, right? Yes. It's Friday. I fly out Saturday. That's why I know.
Okay.
We actually refer to days as like, if we were talking like, say I was still on, I'd be like, hey, on this first sea day, let's do this. Or, hey, in Puerto Vallarta, let's do this. That's how we talk to each other. We talk by ports, not by days of the week.
Yeah.
So, what's a sea day like?
So a sea day is invariably our busiest day as a crew member on board. Now bearing in mind we have very strict work hours that we have to adhere to. Okay, our maximum hours of work for a day is 14 hours with a 10-hour consecutive rest period. Now that consecutive rest period can be broken up into two sections, so it can be no less than 6 hours and then with a later 4-hour break, or 7 hours and 3 hours, 8 hours, 2 hours, 9 hours, 1 hour. So we have to have at least 10 hours rest in a 24-hour period. However, sometimes on sea days, you do end up working your full 14 hours. Most sea days, I would say we do about 11 or 12 hours is about an average sea day for us. And that is on the floor working. So that doesn't include like going for breakfast or nipping out for a quick cigarette if somebody smokes or having lunch. It's on the floor, physically in front of guests. On a port day, when most of our guests are allowed going off the ship, there are two things about a port day. We have a system called in-port manning, which means that we need to have X amount of crew on board at any given time in case there is an emergency, so our firefighting teams, etc., are still on board. And we can still look after the guests who are choosing to stay on board. So if you are IPM on that day, because you can't get off the ship anyways, you'll do a normal, like a sea day schedule and entertainment. And if it's not, then we give you what is called a day off, which means the daytime you are off. It doesn't mean that the nighttime you are off. So a day off, you will work 6 hours, and a normal day, you'll work about 12. So your normal day is my day off, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with myself when I get back home though. That's the problem, because I'm so used to working that you just don't know what to do when you stop.
It's true, isn't it? Yeah, so like that kind of, the IPM days, the import manning days, that's one of our acronyms, by the way, IPM. It's the same for all the departments, not just entertainment. Like the bartenders and stuff, they all have an emergency duty. So there's a skeleton crew, a certain percentage of them to stay on. Those are the ones that are serving you drinks because they have to be on anyway, so they serve drinks, and then the rest can get off and enjoy their day. Typically the rotation works, it's like you'll have an import manning day and then you'll have 2 days off in port. then the next port would be in Port Manning again. Turnaround days, though, are pretty much a write-off.
Yeah,
None of us can get off to Los Angeles. We're all working all the way through, because you're getting everything on and off the ship and getting you on and off, and there's too much happening for really anyone other than the cast members to get off on that day. So
pretty much.
yeah. All right, so that's it in Port Manning. You talked about rest hours. All right, life on board. First of all, crew recreation. So we have a guy on board. His title is the Crew Welfare Coordinator. And his job is pretty much to be the cruise director of the crew. He organizes different events, keeps us all busy. He organizes, so we'll do evening activities for them. Often we'll get involved and we'll host game shows for the crew. We kind of try to offer the same. We put in, like our production cast will put on production shows just for the crew only to go in at night and watch that. We do tours, shore excursions. They're either crazy discounted or even free. So, you go swimming with the dolphins. You said your favorite tour is Petra.
Yeah, my favorite one, I went to Petra in Jordan. I was doing a little cruise on the Dawn Princess, and we were lucky enough to go to Petra, and that was absolutely incredible. And that cost me like $30, which is nothing for a tour to Petra. It was a full day. So the tours, things like you guys wouldn't understand it quite as well, but when you come from different companies, Princess really looks after their crew behind the scenes a lot better than a lot of other companies do. And this is one of the things for us, is to have this, to be able to have a crew recreation area and to have a crew welfare coordinator, somebody who's just there to make sure we have a good time when we have time off. That's pretty special, and it makes it a really nice place to work, because we have this ongoing entertainment, which is great.
Last Mazatlan, we did crew bingo, but right now, we have a crew recreation area. We'll show you pictures of it in a minute, where there's a crew bar, so we can go and enjoy a drink after work. And then there's, we'll show you all of it. There's a big area. Lawrence says it's like a town hall, which makes sense, which is a great area, but that's actually closed right now. So normally we do like crew bingo in there or in the theater, but right now, just because of what the new variant out, we've heightened what we call our sanitization levels, or our outbreak levels, as a precautionary measure, so that way we can try to stay on top of it. And so part of that, we're not allowing any crew gatherings, we're actually canceling meetings, stuff like that. So what we did is we did a special crew bingo here in Princess Live. And so we were able to broadcast live into the crew cabins, because this is a TV studio. And so we broadcast live, and I hosted bingo for the crew. And we played a couple of games of bingo and just gave some money to them. So they would call into that phone number there. But we get to have fun with it. Like we did. Like on that night, our senior production manager was here for it, of course, Reese, and I was talking. He's just joined the ship, so I was saying on the camera to all the crew, "Oh well, Reese is the most eligible bachelor. He's just come on board." And I go, "If you don't know, he's got a double bed in his room and a window, that's a luxury at sea." And so I go, so if you're interested in Reese, I want you to know his pager number is this. And I gave out his pager number to the entire crew. He said he had to turn it off at like 2 o'clock in the morning, because people were still prank phone calling him and paging him. So we get to get up there and have our own fun.
Yeah, we do.
But we'll show you pictures of all that as well. There we go, love life. So when I left the old company before I came here, I was sitting at home and I was watching episodes of The Love Boat, which was a bit of inspiration. I go, okay, well, maybe this is a sign of where I should apply to. And what really inspired me was how much the doctor really had an interest in making sure every female guest was well taken care of over their voyage. And I was like, wow, Princess looks pretty liberal and pretty outgoing. Maybe I'll go there. Times have changed. That's now frowned upon. It's actually an easy way to get fired. You're not allowed to fraternize with guests. However, crew...
Yeah, go for it.
Go for it.
Have fun. Yeah, I mean, this lifestyle in this area, it's a very intense, it's a very strange place to work. This becomes your world. This is your world, because when the internet goes, that's it. And we don't really watch the news, we don't have time. So we are all very involved in each other's lives. And your friends and your colleagues and your people pretty intimately by the end of the contract. You see each other at the very worst of times, you see each other doing the very best of times, you see them in a good mood, in a bad mood, in every mood that's humanly possible. You see them first thing in the morning in their pajamas, when they're hungover maybe, or not feeling great, or you're looking amazing and formal nights. So the relationships that you build on board are particularly intense, and they are full on and pretty immediate. So what happens is people fall in love a lot. And by a lot, I mean a lot. Not me, because apparently it's not for me. But anyways, it happens a lot. And then what happens is that you have this massively intense relationship with somebody for about 3 weeks, because it's like a year and a half, and then they leave, and then you're distraught for like 2 days, and then somebody else comes and it's all gone again. So it's a roving thing. Now, some people do fall in love and they end up actually marrying somebody, or we have a lot of couples on board, we have a lot of married couples on board. Princess is very good with, if you are in a relationship with somebody, you can link with your partner. So, and you can do it with friends, you can do it with your romantic partner. So you would each sign papers saying that you want to link with this person. So hypothetically, Kevin and I were a couple, we could link, which means that we will be...
We're not.
We're not. But if we were, we could link and go to the next ship together, and we could join within a month or so of each other and leave within a month. But we'd have the most of our contract together. The problem with that comes in is that then we'd have to share a cabin, because we are now linked. So in the month that Kevin's on the ship and I'm not there, he may, or may not, probably will know Kevin, have a little fling with somebody else, right? Then I arrive and I hear about it.
I heard some boos from the audience.
Yes.
This is a
Hypothetical.
hypothetical situation.
But
We're not together and I didn't cheat on her.
He cheats on me, right? And I arrive. Now I'm stuck with him for the rest of my contract in the same cabin. That face. I have to look at the time and I don't want to. So you have to be really smart who you link with. So if you're going to link with someone, you've got to make a good life decision for linking, because we get people also, Princess, once you've linked with someone and then you unlink, right? They make you wait 6 months before you link again, because we have a pandemic of serial linkaging that happens, because there are people who will link with anything. So you need to make up your mind and then sign the paper. But other than that, basically, if you have a double bed and a window, you sorted. You know.
Or like the boys that just walked in with we got our associate hotel general manager John there, and our entertainment director Duke, and our rooms division manager Constantine. The two boys in the front though, they have a suite.
They do.
They have a living room and a bedroom separate and a bathtub. What's that? You're never in it. Not together.
But you see, that's the appeal, because somebody else could use your cabin while you're away.
While you're away. So John and Duke are not linked. Okay, we sorted that one out. All right, let's take you on a tour of the ship. So this is what we call the M1. This is the highway that goes from the front to the back of the ship. It's for crew only. It's a quick way. That's how we actually get around so fast. And then off the M1, we have, actually behind all of your elevators, we have our own elevators there. So we're able to get around very, very quickly. Tomorrow, we don't use this route. It's actually quite dangerous on a turnaround day, because we have all the trolleys with your luggage on it. And then as well, all of our stores are coming on, all the food, all the drinks, like everything, like pens and stuff.
Everything. Toilet paper.
It's all coming on tomorrow, and it's all being craned on and then forklift down these hallways. So you stay away, because it's a dangerous place to be walking around on turnaround day. But that's the M1, so that's how we get around. You see the floor is a little bit different than your hallways.
Yeah, so basically, if you open a door and there's linoleum on the floor, turn around and go back. You're clearly in a crew area.
This is actually a butcher room.
Yeah, it's the butchery on board. And as you can see, super clean, super neat. On board, so we've got different storage areas and food preparation areas according to meats and plants and everything else. And this is the butcher, and as you can see, they're busy getting things ready for the evening and making sure everything's right. Nice and clean, everything's covered, everything's tidy. The galleys on board and I've been through those galleys many times because being bar staff, we were in and out the galleys. You can honestly, I kid you not, you can eat off the floor. Not during service because there's a whole bunch of feet coming, but after service, they have to clean that galley down top to bottom. You've never seen anything so clean, and it's actually caused me to lose my job for a few restaurants where I refused to work when I walked into the kitchen at home, and I turned around and I walked out and I said, there's no ways I'm working here because I'm used to this kind of quality of clean. It is impeccable. Very cool.
You might be able to answer this for me because I've always wondered, why do all the galleys have UV lights?
Honestly, I don't know.
Because every galley when you walk in, there's UV lights at each door.
Yeah, it's true. I don't know. No idea.
What's that? It just helps. Yeah, but like what bacteria would be at the door? I don't know. Oh, by the way, we also have UV air filtration systems in every room now too. They're all located backstage, but they come through now. There's a whole new filtration system too for the air. And those are on all of our ships now. So that's we had them originally to begin with, but now they have these. They've installed them to all of our ships, so which is kind of interesting. This is my closet, which I just wanted to show off to you guys. It's
Why is there a man in your closet, Kevin? Is he trying to get out?
So obviously a very full beer fridge there, a beer locker.
Corona.
It's Corona. It doesn't sell as good as it used to. It doesn't look like this anymore. You guys have been drinking a lot this week, so pretty empty. This is a fruit locker, right?
Yeah.
Fruit and vegetable.
So fruit and veggie lockers. So also downstairs, you will notice. Well, you wouldn't notice this, but when you're on board, you'll find most of our dining areas are at the back of the ship. I always tell guests the ship is designed like I am. The fun's in the front, but the food is right at the back. And unfortunately, the storage area is a little bit lower than I was expecting it to be. So this is down on deck number 3 and deck number 4. We keep all our food lockers and things are downstairs, the refrigeration areas. And what we do is we would put, like I said earlier, there's a room for red meat, there's a room for white meat, there's a room for shellfish, there's a room for normal fish, that kind of thing, so to keep things separate for allergies and cross-contamination purposes. Same thing with our fruit and veggie lockers. We got all different kinds of things so that happy veggies and fruits that like each other will grow together and sort out each other. Things like tomato and basil, you can keep them together and they keep each other fresh and tasty together. Other things, apples will make anything get a little bit older faster than you need it to be, so we will keep apples away from the other fruit. Things like that. So all of that is stored downstairs. It all gets palleted in. Everything gets temperature logged and measured to the right things. And then from those areas on deck number 3 and deck number 4, we have food elevators for food only and for food workers only. They will elevate them right up to deck number 5 where our galleys are. There's also a galley on deck number 6, which is why you can't go from Concerto to Lake Road. The galley's in the middle and there's an elevator shaft. That elevator shaft also goes all the way up to deck number 16 to Will Fresh Marketplace. And that will be our main hub for delivering of other food stuffs towards like the burger bar and the crab place and whatever else. So all the food gets stored at the back and everything just sort of runs up those elevators. And hotel stores are kind of kept in the middle of the ship because it's easily accessible for everybody else, and then we use those midship elevators so we're not cross-contaminating with food.
Very interesting. As well, we have to order our food 3 months in advance. So you have to. It's all based on demographics and who's coming on board. That's actually somebody's primary job. There's an inventory manager who's just constantly making sure that we have everything we need, right?
And I always say, imagine, like on a normal day, you go down to the shop and you pick up your stuff. You've even got a shopping list, and then you go home and you're like, oh, milk. I forgot the milk. I didn't put it on the list. Imagine if our hotel inventory manager forgot the toilet paper just once. Just one small whoopsie, like, oh, gotta go back and go get a litre of milk. Gotta go back and buy another 500 tons of toilet paper. It's a lot of work.
We had, I'll talk about the operational pause in a minute, but when we had the pause on the Sun Princess, that's when the world went mad and everybody was hoarding all the toilet paper.
Yeah.
And so, but we had so much on board, obviously, because we were expecting to have a bunch of guests. So we sent every crew member home with like 3 rolls of toilet paper just so they'd be safe.
Our parting gift from us to you. Thank you for
Here's your bonus for the contract. Take care. We have our own classroom on board. Well, the classroom has a UV light too. Check that out. So that's our learning and development room. We don't actually really use it right now, again, because we're trying to stop everybody from mixing together. But what we do now is when we have trainings, we actually do them through Microsoft Teams. So we do them all through our computers in our offices. We do all our trainings. But then once we get back, we'll get back into that. Lots of trainings, of course. All of like the food workers, they need to do their U.S. public health trainings and Coast Guard trainings, and getting for all of our regulations. But then on top of that, we also get like leadership trainings, and as Lauren said, we sign up for additional safety trainings. Cornell.
Yeah, so Princess is working now in correlation with Cornell University, so we can do online courses with them, and it's not just cruise ship courses. Like we can do something in photography or wine tasting or things like that. Like you can do a variety of courses that they offer for free for us, which is really cool. Also language courses. Princess is very invested in their crew.
You offended them.
Oh,
they don't like Cornell. They're Harvard,
they're like,
Harvard
that's
people.
We're out of here. But yeah, language courses, things like that they're offering for us on board. You can get Duolingo for free. If you want to do it, you can. There's a link to the site, so anybody, if you've got a mobile phone, even if you don't want to download the app yourself, you can use it through the website for us as crew members, and then you can learn a different language if you want to. So there's lots of stuff that you can do. It's very, very cool.
As well too, all crew members, we get internet as well, but we still pay for it, but it's reduced. We pay $2 a day for our internet. But then as well, you don't have to buy internet, because they actually, as long as you're connected to our crew Wi-Fi, we get, it's a different, you can't find the network, but we get free WhatsApp on that as well. So we get the app, so that way we can call home and message with home, and that's all free of cost, which is another little perk that we have at Princess. Yeah, it's very, very cool. This is a picture from the crew bar a couple weeks ago when it was open. Yeah. Nice little, no, sorry, that's the picture from Titanic when they were partying below deck. Keep bringing this in. This is actually our crew recreation area. So you walk in, that's what you see as you walk into it. It's a skinny little hallway. On the left side, that's the actual bar of it. They put down the metal grating because Karen, your assistant cruise director, will tear it down trying to get in for a drink. But they open up at 6 o'clock, and from there on, you can go down and enjoy a drink or two if you like. You have to drink responsibly, of course. Hi, Karen. How you doing? We were just talking about you. Karen, what time is it?
Not 6 o'clock yet.
It's not 6 o'clock yet. 6 o'clock club. Only for another day. Yeah, only for another day, Karen. So yeah, you go there. It's we live actually duty free, and Princess sells it to us at below cost. So like if you want to go have a beer after work, they only charge us like $1.25 or $1.40, so it's really, really cheap. So they're selling below cost. They don't make money off the crew, which is the way it should be, right? Like, we're here to work. They don't need to make money off us. So what happens is if you go down that hallway and you turn right, you see this. So this is half. So there's that wall there where the cupboards are, and then in the between the two guys there, you can see there's like a little round area. That's a DJ booth. And on that side, it's like a nightclub. There's like a big open area. And all around the outside, we have big screen TVs with PlayStations hooked up to them. So you go down and play a video game. FIFA seems to be the really popular game on board right now. Everyone kind of plays that. And then, of course, Lauren's favorite things.
Yeah, the pool table. By the way, I know what you're thinking.
Why do they have a pool table? We don't have a pool table.
Because a pool table is the biggest waste of space known to mankind on a cruise ship. Because every time the ship moves, your balls move. So you don't have to have any skill to play pool on board a ship. You've just got to be standing in the right direction at the right time. And all of a sudden you hit the ball one and then make your shot and you break and then and you win. It's wonderful.
Same as the foosball tables. That wall, by the way, where the cupboards are behind the foosball table, that's actually a library, so we have a whole bunch of books there, so the crew can sign it out. Then on the other side of that wall, we have a whole bunch of board games, so the crew can go down and sign board games out. Connect 4 seems to be the popular one right now. We have a giant Connect 4 board, and everyone kind of plays that. That's been the popular game lately. So it is a really nice place. And we use it for a lot of different things as well. Actually, crew members, we have to be swabbed once a week. So we have to do COVID tests once a week. So we do that down in the crew recreation area. Or like me, I've been swabbed twice in the last day.
Yeah, well.
That's because I'm leaving. So
yeah.
Flying into Canada, I need to have a PCR test, so I was able to get that done on board. So we did our rapid test yesterday, and I did another PCR just to double check today. So got to tickle the eyeball. That was a lot of fun. So we do that in there. We do meetings in there, church
Yeah.
services, right?
Church services, get-togethers, gatherings. Obviously, with COVID, things are different. But invariably, that is it's a jack of all trades space. If we do karaoke, we do it in there. If we do a yes no game show, we do it in there. If we're gonna have a trivia, we'll do it in there. If we're gonna have a crew party, we'll do it in there. Anything that you would use a normal town hall for, we use that area on a normal sort of basis.
There's also a crew gym attached to it as well. So there's a crew gym for them to use that. We have our own 7-Eleven, which is pretty cool. So we have our own shop. It's the crew shop. You go in, everything's really, really cheap. I think a Pringles is like $1. It's really, really cheap. You can get everything that you need, like, M&Ms and Kit Kats and all the essentials like fuzzy peaches and beef jerky and noodles.
Please
and
know we
chips
eat like
and-
teenagers.
we do.
Everything you need, like Pringles and jerky and M&Ms. Yes.
As well, though, you can get different. What's the word I'm looking for?
Toiletries.
Toiletries. Thank you.
Toiletries. You can get deodorant.
I don't know why they call it toiletries though. It's a stupid name.
Actually, I could tell you, but do you want the historical definition?
I kind of do, because I always thought like toiletries. Like, why would you take things from the toilet and put it on you?
No, it's got nothing to do with the toil. It's actually the cloth that they used to use in Georgian times. It was called a toile, which was French, and they would use this cloth to wipe themselves down because they didn't actually bath and stuff during Georgian times. So from the toil, you would go and do your toilet, and everything from there became bathroom, and hygiene became toilet.
She's way too smart, isn't she? Oh my god.
Okay.
Or you're the best liar I've ever met. So with the toiletries though, the problem is that they only have like one or two options of each thing. So it's like, you get these two types of soap, you get this type of deodorant. So that's why, right, in Puerto Vallarta, we all go running off the ship to Walmart. Every crew member, we take off.
Because they don't stock plain salted chips. And that is a problem for me. So I send people, if I can't get off the ship, I send people with money. Chips, go, find them, bring them back. We also, like Karen and I, will do cheese. We like to buy cheese. And then we'll eat a lot of cheese and crackers and stuff. And we get all of that too. It's kind of cool.
This is the crew mess on board. So, but did we talk about, no, we kind of missed that. So there's three areas that we have a crew mess, a staff mess, and a officer's mess. Now, right now the crew mess, the crew staff mess is the same, but they're split into two. We're trying to keep everyone kind of separate. So our deck and technical crew, they all eat the crew mess, which is this right here. When you walk in, it's buffet style. They have their own pizzeria on the right side with really good pizza. And then you can see the seating area in behind. And then this is the other side there, and that's the buffet side. So I just turned and took the picture. So it's very similar to World Fresh Marketplace. And then as well, what we've done for the hotel crew and staff, they're now eating, if you haven't noticed, you're missing a dining room. The Symphony dining room is gone, it's disappeared. We use that now for our hotel crew and staff to eat down there. Because it's so much bigger, there's more room for them to socially distance and be safe. So, and I mean, there's only 25% of you. We can easily handle the load with the two dining rooms. So we're using some of the guest amenities to help take care of the crew. This is what a crew corridor looks like. This is what our hallways look like.
And they're about this wide.
Yeah, seriously, they are. They're like that. Each door dictates your rank on board. So a red door is a crew member, a blue door is a staff member or a petty officer, which are like what?
Like the boutiques, like the dancers, our production team, youth staff, casino dealers, that kind of thing. They are like our concessions teams and things like that. They are staff.
Yeah, so they have a blue door, and then a white door means that you're an officer on board. So I don't know why they do it, but it just kind of shows you what your rank is.
I don't know actually. Yeah. I have no idea.
I don't know if
and that
that's-
might be because of the levels. I don't know.
I don't know if it's like a new, if it's like an old merchant navy thing or
No idea.
Because there's a lot of things that carry over from the navy that come in. Oh, sorry to offend you. He was an army guy. He was the one talking about the navy. I knew you were an army family. I can smell it. He's a Buckeyes fan too. Oh. Okay, are you from Columbus, sir? So, but you live in Ohio? Do you want to do your mating call right now? Oh wait, they can't help it. Good luck at bingo, sir. I think that's where they're going to. I think that's what's happening right now. Bingo's getting ready to go. Yeah, that's probably what it is. All right, so we're going to show you the cabin. So if you go into a red door to a crew cabin, we actually have a picture of Lauren's original cabin when she was a crew.
Yep.
So that's what it looks like.
This was my cabin on the Dawn Princess, and I lived in that cabin. Well, I lived in a cabin that looked just like that for about 4 years. As you can see, there's bunk beds. I had a cabin mate, and whoever's been there the longest gets the bottom bunk. It's reversed from when you're a child because everybody wants the top bunk when you're a kid, and now it's a case of I will take the bottom bunk. It's small. I'm not going to pretend that it's a massive cabin. It's not, but we really only ever slept there. So you get up, you go to work, you go out and forth, you go to the crew bar, you come back, you go to sleep. So there's more than enough space for 2 people. There's a cupboard on the side. We could hang up our stuff. We had the sink was in the cabin itself, so you had a basin. You could, put your toiletries away and things like that. The only thing with the red door cabins is that you have an interlocking toilet with the cabin next door. So there's 2 cabins that share a toilet and a shower. The sink is in your cabin itself, so that you can get up and get dressed and do whatever you need to do. But yeah, very comfy, very nice.
The staff cabins, so like the blue doors are the same. They're about the same size. They're a little bit bigger because they have their own toilet or bathroom inside of the room.
Yeah.
So it's not like a big bathroom. It's a lot smaller than yours.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can do all 3 things at the same time. You can be on the toilet, shaving, and half in the shower. Like our bathrooms are small, all right. But so that's the staff cabins. They have them in there, so they'll still share a room, but then those 2 people have their own bathroom and own shower in there, rather than sharing amongst 4. And then after that, you move up to the officer status. Is when. And by the way, we try to promote within, so it's nice because as you move up the ranks in each promotion, you get more and more benefits and perks that come to you. So you get bigger rooms, you get more, you get cabin stewards more often in the week than as you move up, and you can get different deck privileges. You can use the crew gym, and as you move up, you're just getting kind of more and more. So then you go to the officer's cabin. This is Lauren's cabin now.
Yay.
Yeah,
So that's my cabin. So the great thing, number 1, it's mine. I don't share it with anybody, which is amazing. Number 2, that bunk bed, it is still a single bed though, but the bunk bed folds up into the roof, so it's not actually down. So I don't have anything above me, so it's very roomy. I've got 3 chairs in the cabin for no particular reason, because I only have 1 bum, but 3 chairs apparently is what I need. I actually have a lot of open drawers because there's a lot of storage space that I don't actually need. I don't bring that much stuff with me. So this is really more than I need. I can tell you that on my wish list though is a double bed and a window. That's the dream. Is a
Does
double
yours
bed
have
and
the
window.
storage space under the bed as well?
I don't even open the thing. I don't need it, so I haven't looked.
I don't know if your bed's the same as mine. It's a little bit bigger.
Dunno.
My mattress. Well, here I'll show you my room. That's what my room looks like.
Double bed and a window.
It's really the same. It's the same.
It's a double bed and
It's
a
the
window.
same.
It's
the
a
same.
window.
It's the same
It's not the
size.
same. It's a double bed
The
and a
exact same
window.
size. I don't know why everybody laughs. It's the exact same size.
It's not. It's a double bed and a window. It's different.
But actually, what happens is I can pull my mattress off, and in behind the drawer in the middle, there's actually a little piece of wood on my box spring. I guess it's not really a box spring, 'cause that's built in. But you can open it up, and there's a big void there, so I can put my suitcase underneath the bed, and then you close it, so that it goes away from the contract. So I had to fish that out a couple days ago to start packing.
From his double bed. And when actually, you know what? No lie, no word of a lie though, because when we were teasing Duke, the next step up for Kevin, if Kevin wants to move higher up, the next step, because it's about as high as you can go really, is to become the entertainment director, and they get like a mini suite, which is really cool. Duke's cabin is lovely. He's got a couch and windows, not just one, and a separate bedroom with a bathroom with a full bath and everything. It's really very nice. So the higher you go, like Kevin was saying, it's really something to aspire to, especially if you start as a crew member, then you become a staff member, then you carry on and you get higher. It's perks that pay off after a while.
Yeah, and then right now Lauren's actually in for entertainment director, so she's applied for that, which I think that she'll probably get. She's
Thank you.
very qualified.
Fingers crossed.
But I mean, you said we can't go higher, but absolutely we can. We can still.
Oh, you can still go up to. I'm talking about within the department.
Yeah, within the
Yeah.
department, but so you can go. So if Lauren was an entertainment director, entertainment director and cruise director are both three-stripe officers on board. You can go from any hotel three-stripe job to becoming the associate hotel general manager, who we just met, John. And then you can go from there to being the actual hotel general manager and look after the entire hotel operation. So, I mean, I don't think it's a job I'd ever want. You would probably enjoy it.
Probably.
I can see you getting it,
Probably.
being really good at it. But
Yeah, I want to do ED for a little bit first though, and really enjoy it and get my teeth into it, and then we will see. Because once I've done something that I've really loved for a long time, then I will get a little bit bored and then I'll move on. But
right. A couple of videos for you. Set us up, Lauren. This is your video.
okay, so this one is taken from the Pacific Pearl. She was an old princess ship, and that video is from the bridge, which was on deck 12. The deck that you're looking at is deck 9. We are sailing in the Tasman. This is not the roughest sea I have ever been in my life, but it was fun.
10メートルで読んだ。これ
The
は
captain speaking, by the way.
ごめん。
読んでね。わ
あら、なに、いいっすよ。でもあれ
お。
なんで、
ですよね。
綺麗ですよ。
Now, this is from the same body of water. This is just from the before the pandemic on the Ruby Princess. Lauren, I didn't tell you this, but last week when we did this presentation, a guest came up to me and they were on this cruise with me.
Already?
Yeah, they were on this day. We were talking about
That's
this day.
cool.
Yeah, so that was really funny. This is deck 11, by the way. Looking out our window on deck 11 on the Ruby. You'll hear my giggle in a second. Come down.
See, we love it.
That
That's the
was
thing
so
though.
much